Cool. And I have live chat for that. Oh, I can hear me. I should be live on Twitch. Bullshit. But, see? Patience, young Padawan. Stephanie Press is in here. So they can't hear you, they can just hear me. But of course. No. You guys, you got your minute 38. We all ready? We're gonna go live now. Wait. I gotta put my video in. Oh, look, I got sun hitting my face.
Boom.
Oh, lovely.
Well, it's good meeting you, everybody.
Well, you're live. You're live and it's showing it. We all ready? We're gonna go live. What? I'm hearing me twice. I'm hearing me. I gotta put. Oh, there you go. Okay, I feel like we're ready to go. Hi, everyone. Sorry it was a bit of a clunky start, but that's what this is here. I love that we've managed expectations. This camera is so nice. If you're wondering why it seems a little different here, I'm not streaming from my place. I'm streaming from Naomi Kyle's studio. Naomi and I have done many a stream together. She's fantastic, and she's also on holidays. And so I'm dog sitting and watching, and we got a level 2 hype train happening. Choo-choo! So as you can see, there's a giant book, and this is what we've been currently reading. Brandon Sanderson's 2.5 book. So this was our bonus book because Brandon Sanderson kind of wrote a shorter book. How many pages is this one? 300?
755.
No, it was about 250, but the first 50 was basically just stolen right from the previous book's interlude. So it was a reread for those.
It was a rehash. Yeah, that first chapter, and it was a longer chapter. Thank you so much, Space Cowboy, for using your Prime. Appreciate it. Also, Robin, you've resubscribed for 38 months. Terry, you've resubscribed for 58 months. Lisa, 28 months in a row. 43 total. The Barbarian, thank you for 9 months in a row. Toaster Poster, thank you for 46 months in a row. Catch, 43 in a row, 45 total. What happened? When was that? Did I do that? Was I responsible for breaking that streak too? I feel like I...
No, I think that 2-month gap was like you were not streaming at all for a while.
Yeah, I'm probably the SADS or something.
Just pre-COVID, maybe, would be my guess. Because I think you started streaming more regularly then, right?
Like September of COVID. Is that dog? Hello,
Yeah.
Zelda in the back there.
So it was probably around then, because you'd figure 43 months, that's almost 4 years.
Gross. A very long time. Faden, thank you so much for the generous donation an hour ago. Really appreciate that. Thank you for making this place so much better. How is everyone going on this Thursday night? Greg Kenzo's making an entrance, big time. Gifting 5 subs to the community. I Eat Boo, JC, Distorted, Krillius, and Cyber. Are you kidding? Zelda, are you kidding? Can you see her in this? No, you can't. She's grabbed a toy that just went, ha! And I know that she's grabbed Odie's toy and she's now playing with his toy on his bed. And it's not an accident. She is that conniving. She's so cute. I love her. Anyway, you didn't hear anything at all because my setup is amazing here. Thank you, Greg. Greg's joined Members Plus. We just had a pre-show hangout where I dropped all my secrets there. I was vague enough this time, but I'm sure people will figure it out, which is cool. Who didn't read the book? The book? 4 of you have your hands up. Are you okay that we're going to go full spoilers and just kind of like fill you in on the buffer material? Academic, you haven't read... Have you read all of Stormlight Archives yet?
Oh, yeah, I have. I just didn't read it this time. I haven't read anything for like the last month. It's been rough.
Oh, you're in a slump or are you just overworked?
Overworked.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's hard to be able to do both.
Yeah.
Redubs is in here saying, hey all, I just started reading Sanderson with The Way of Kings and loving it so far, but not too familiar with Edgedancer. Would there be spoilers in this book or is it entirely different? So there is a chapter introducing this side character in the second book, and the chapter that you get in that book is the first chapter of this novella. Novella's a stretch, but like it's an expansion, but it does take place in between books 2 and 3, and it fleshes out some of the surrounding characters and situations that are happening. So if you want to be completely in the know of all meticulous details, then this will spoil a little bit. If you're just happy to understand the greater cosmere, then welcome. Thierry says, Sanderson's writing style is just not my cup of tea. What is it about it that isn't drinking your teas? One moment, please. Checking out pasta.
I think he's muted.
I think I can answer for Terry because it's probably the same reason that I don't like Sanderson.
You don't like Sanderson? How many pages of Sanderson's work have you read total?
100, and that was enough to know I will never read any more.
I think you're going to complain more about Sanderson than 9 pages you read.
I know, I definitely have, but every time I complain about Sanderson or say something negative about it, it's in good fun. I'm not judging anyone for reading it. I'm not going to read it.
No hate or shame around here. If it's not your cup of tea, then it's not your cup of tea. I really love it. And honestly, every time we dive back into a book, I'm 7 chapters into Oathbringer, and I've already had like a yay, ooh, amaze moment. So I love it. Does Brandon Sanderson write incredibly dense, thick world building and expansive to the point of bursting over 1,000 pages per book in the main series of Stormlight Archives? Absolutely. The guy has a lot to say. Robin says, I generally hate high fantasy, but I am really enjoying this series. What is it about this series that you're digging?
I think
Lovely to have you back, by the way. I've missed you.
Thank you.
Nice haircut, by the way. It looks great. You can now talk.
Okay. You sure?
Yes.
I think I like this just because like he goes more into character development than a lot of the other high fantasy. Like other high fantasy, I feel like they build the world and it's just like details on details on details on details about the world and not character interactions,
Which he
character building.
does do also. That's why there's so much happening. Oh, lol, I haven't read it, but I have something to say real quick if that's all right. It's about who recommended it to me. Yes, Greg, tell us who recommended you Stormlight Archive.
Yeah, so this one, my dad never recommends books to me, but he's an avid reader, as I am, and he recommended this one, like the Stormlight Archive, the first book, and it's the only book in like the last 10 years that he's recommended to me, so I have a feeling it's going to be great.
So he got there before you did. How did he stumble
He did.
upon Stormlight Archive?
I have no idea. He it's like the first time he's ever recommended a book to me.
Wow.
So, yeah. I'd say that.
I like
Looking
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Stephanie Preston YouTube says, I've read it. I love it. I always think it's so fascinating when there is discourse when there are people who are like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite ever. And other people being like, I read 100 pages and I'm never going back. That's so fascinating. What we say a lot of the time here in Maude's Book Club is that we all read the same words but hear a different story. I am loving how Brandon Sanderson, like what Robin was saying, not only builds out the world, and he has layers upon layers upon layers of how he builds his world out with a very intricate magic system, and it all clicks into place. There's a very long-winded way to get there some of the time. But I think he does an amazing job with characters as well. I find them to be incredibly 3D, like characters that I can hear, that I can see, that I understand, that I'm really getting to know. At San Diego Comic-Con last weekend, people dressed up as Bridge 4. That's so amazing. I've seen Bridge 4 tattoos. It's just, there's something really wonderful about not just the hero's journey, but like all these characters surrounding it. I mean, you might think that Kaladin's a bit boring and straight edge, but then you absolutely love Shallan. Shallan. Because she's feisty and she's a whole different person who's got a whole different story. And KB Dubs is here going, yeah, look, we know Kaladin, we know Shallan, we know Lift because of Edgedancer. We just need to know Szeth. There's a great soundbite from the audiobook. I think the first book starts, like there's a chapter that starts, Szeth, son of whatever it is. And now Book Talk has like gotten that soundbite and do videos with Szeth, which I think's great. I have to find it. Maybe I'll make my own video. Only if I'm wearing all white. That could be fun. Redubs says, I really like the world building too so far. Occult Stool's in the house. Hey, buddy. Says, since I discovered audiobooks, I'm able to tackle epic fantasy. I do get a bit, not discouraged. I find it daunting in an audiobook for a Brandon Sanderson book where you open it and it's like, hey, this is 55 hours. This is 55 hours of listening. You are going to need 2.5 days straight to get through this bad boy. And I listened for a couple of hours a day, maybe, on my walk. Yeah, Szeth, son Villano. Well, white on the day he was to kill the king. Thank you, Lisa. And there's a beat under it. Bum, 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 da-dum, dum, bum, bum. Yeah, it's sick. That's so my Book Talk humor as well. Lisa, do you remember when they had the same thing for Crescent City with... Dun, 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 dun. What's his name again? Rune Dannon.
Rune Dannon.
Rune Dannon.
Crown Prince of the Northern Bay.
That's it. I'm like, you drop that track any room I walk into. That's so fun. I'm doing more on TikTok these days now as well. I tried to stream this on TikTok, but I am but one woman with one camera, and sometimes you just got to choose your lane. So I'm doing my best. Occult Stool says, when I'm working alone for most of my 12-hour work days, I can burn through them fast. Well, Occult Stool, if you ever need book recommendations to burn through that week, that's what Terry used to do as well. Terry used to sit there listening to books all day, getting through all your reading lists. Is that happening anymore? Do you get your own space, or can you do a sneaky earbud these days? You muted and then unmuted and then muted again. I'll see it in the chat. I'll see it in the chat. Also, we have
I
a
just
brand.
said
Oh,
I
yes,
still
hey.
do listen to books
Good.
at work.
What you're listening to at the moment, because you didn't read this one.
I'm currently listening to Empire of Storm.
Oh, I was going to say you're doing your Throne of Glass reread. Now, this is the first time, or you've...
First time.
What do you think? This was my first foray into Sarah J. Maas back in 2017 when I first got into audiobooks, and I had Elizabeth Evans, who I'm trying to get on the show. Hey, Elizabeth, honey, answer your DMs. I will find another way to contact you, more respectfully, of course, but I would love to get you on the show. Your voice got me into listening to books. Michael Kramer, you can take a seat. Elizabeth Evans is at the front of my list. Thank you very much. Oh, poor Michael Kramer. He's going to be like at a con or something and I'm there like hosting and he's like, is that you, Maude? I'll be like, hi, what's your name? I'm Maude Garrett. And he's like, I'm Michael Kramer. I'm going to be like, oh, I am so sorry for the hundreds of things that I said that were slightly mean online. I didn't mean it. You're great. You're doing an amazing job. And if Brandon Sanderson thinks that you're the GOAT, then obviously he's like, there's something right about that. And maybe I'm the problem, but I owe that man an apology. Kate reading is getting better for me though. Like I actually enjoyed listening to Edgedancer. Thank you, Kate. Kate reading? Kate reading? Kate Redding? Kate reading? Reading. They're married, says Lisa. Well, that makes sense. Zodiac Academy, I'm pretty sure they're married too. Pity about the slow moments in that series. I feel like I owe someone else an apology because I recommended that series and it's like 4 out of 9 of them are good. Lisa, did you do Zodiac? Robin? Did you do Zodiac?
It stopped on 7. Is it 7? I don't know. Like I got like 2 chapters in and I was like, I think I'm done with the series.
Oh, that's right. I did get you to start it. Yeah, look, I finished 8 and then there's 1 to go. 8 was, I rated it 2 stars and that was generous. There's just like characters that straight up suck. And then they started like doing point of view chapters for the villain. And I'm like, I don't want to live here. I don't care.
I don't want that.
I want that. I'm getting distracted. I love the depth of world and the depth of characters, says KP Dubs, who's also in the YouTube chat and in the Twitch chat and in the Discord video call. KP Dubs, how does it feel to be like at your cyber command station in all the chats?
I have friends everywhere.
That's why I don't ever want to get on your bad side. Someone said that to me. They were like, I would hate to be on your bad side. And I was like, see, here's the thing
I'm
about...
good. I am a good guy. Where are you guys getting this?
But like, for me, I'm like, what do you think I do to people that I don't like? I'm up every night scrawling a name into a notebook with blood ink.
You randomly mute them in the chat. Can confirm.
Yeah, I've done that a couple of times. It felt really good. But usually if I don't like someone, I just delete them from my brain existence. Like, that's it. I'm not like out to get anyone. I just move on. And so I don't know how threatening that is. I'll take it as a compliment, I suppose. There's a thunderstorm happening, Jimmy? You lost connection. Yeah, you're not there. Toaster Poster says Zodiac Academy was too much. I read the first book and that was enough. The first book sucked. I have to go in with that caveat. I'm like, I didn't like any of these characters. The first book's not good. 2, 3, 4, 5, better. By 7, you're right, Robin. Like, get out of there. I have not watched Andor yet, KP Dubs, but I have watched K-pop Demon Hunters and I feel like my priorities are really solid. No more crying, I'm not shining. Oh my God, I love it. I don't even want to butcher it. I can't get those high notes. Are you kidding me?
As KP logs out.
Oh, he just bounced. Yeah, fair enough. And I just see him dip out of every other. I'm like, no. Anyway, we have a new mod, everyone. The lime green font in the Twitch chat, which he doesn't know this. Somewhat triggering because it was the color of my high school uniform. That was the color of my high school uniform. Anyway, everyone say hi to Space Cowboy. he's going to help with all the moderation that's happening lately. And you said, oh, there are so many books. What did KP say? I wish I could click a comment that someone's responding to so I get the whole conversation instead of having to scroll up and find it myself. And I don't. Can't find. Who we got back there? KBW, you said something in the chat earlier. Okay, Stephen said, I'm just getting into Way of Kings myself and I'm enjoying it, as daunting as it is. The action scenes fly off the page for me, and that's what's pulled me in, really. I'm still a bit lost. Okay, so Stephen, this is really good intel. I tried Way of Kings. 3 or 4 attempts were made. I think I read the full first chapter twice, listened to it also twice, and then tried a couple of other times with like a page or two, and I was like, I got nothing. So Brandon Sanderson throws you in the deep end at the start. None of it really makes sense. It's kind of like being dunked underwater and there's something lodged in your eye. So when you open it, everything's kind of blurry, but then when you blink a lot more, like you can kind of start seeing things clearly and it forms into its shape, and then you're like, oh, I see now. That's Brandon Sanderson. Is that about right? Would you say? Also, Baz, hi. Are you keeping up with this series? I thought you read ahead.
I'm finished with Stormlight Archive. I just wanted to hear everyone's thoughts on Edgedancer.
You did all the bonus books as well. You did 2.5 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you did as well, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, since this is bonus book, all spoilers, the question I have for everyone is book good? And we're going to start with you, Baz. Is book good?
I quite liked it. I think cutting through. I think if I ever heard a complaint, it's about the way the protagonist likes to communicate. But if you read past that, I think I do like and empathize with her main internal conflict. I'd say to summarize the character is like she's not ready to grow up, and I feel that very strongly.
Right.
As I'm in my late 20s, and then I also empathize with the idea of, I want to remember not just my mother, but all these people who probably will be forgotten very fast. I quite like that. And yeah, that's why I like the book quite a bit. And it was up to standard, you could say, that was set by the Stormlight Archive, in my opinion. So, I look on that. That experience was reading that book was a fond experience for me.
So, what would you give it out of 5? I like the things that you resonated with. Can a standalone 2.5 book ever be a 5-star read? Lisa says yes.
For me, I think it was a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 4.
Yeah, it was a 4 out of 5 for me.
KP Dubs gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Pianki gave it a 5 out of 5. So yes, Pianki says that a bonus sort of book can be. Katie Brush says, book is good. I love Lift. I like how she tried to be good and always reminds us that she could be worse, but she tries. I love that. I think that's a beautiful way to say it, Katie. Jeff, you gave it a 3.75 out of 5. Why did you duck? Only 1.25. That's not so bad.
For me, that's a really great rating.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. I guess to me it felt kind of light and meaningless. I like Lift as a character. That's fine. Wendell is fun, I guess, to a point. He gets annoying. If it's a him, I don't know. Yeah, and I guess it's a great framing device for the rest of what's been written so far for Lift. So from that perspective, it's great. But I think it's fine. I mean, it's a fun read for what that's worth. But it lacks substance to me.
So I hear you on that. The introduction that we had with Lift was in Words of Radiance, and we didn't get any other information. It was one standalone Lift chapter, and you're just kind of like, okay, cool, there's someone else who's got a different kind of power. It's a really interesting take on this power, because every other person, we're learning their take on it and they're all quite unique, but we never got anything else from it. And it turns out that, where are we? At the end of the audiobook, because I was listening to it, and I'm guessing that this was in a chapter postscript as well, Brandon Sanderson actually narrated this himself, saying that there was a reason that he felt the need to write Edgedancer. And that was after writing, was it Oathbringer? He realized that a particular character, so after writing Oathbringer, the book that we're about to do starting tomorrow, he realized that a particular character's heel turn was big enough that it had to be, for it to be unexplained / off screen. And it would be so confusing. So he used Edgedancer to kind of explain and to flesh out this one particular character's shift and change. And it also has some more fun world building and some nuggets about Spren, Radiance, and their bond. But I think because he realized he had to kind of just provide slightly more about one character because the jump between book 2 and 3 was a bit too much, I can understand that you don't feel like enough is happening. And one of my big questions that I had here, did Edgedancer have big side quest energy? And that's why I don't think I can give this book a 5 out of 5. It felt like a side quest. And I understand books that will do that. And a lot of the times I don't really like it or appreciate it. We brought up Zodiac Academy before. I have not read any of the 0.5 books, especially because I've already noticed in the writing, it was very much the plot was A to B, and then they started doing A 0.5, A 0.7, B 0.2. And I'm like, oh, you are actually doing so many drastic hook turn tangents to draw this out as long as possible so you can make more money. And it's come at the cost of substance. And so I don't really respect that as much because the book stopped making sense so that you can write more. In this instance, I don't feel like Brandon Sanderson's doing that. I feel like he truly wants to do a character justice. I love that we have evidence that he can tell a story under 500 pages. Yes, Jack?
Well, so two things. One, I think the character he does justice to is Nail.
Yeah.
I think that is the entire point of the book.
Yes.
And Lift is kind of the dressing. And I think also if you focus on one protagonist and kind of one antagonist, yeah, he can tell a story in that sort of length. But it's just that he decides to focus on so many characters. And so it's this could have just been a few chapters in book 2, or book 3, either one. It could have been spread across the two very easily, and it would have fit, and it probably would have felt better. It would have lightened up some of the heaviness in some of those chapters.
But then it would have been an 11 or 1200 page book. Yeah.
Which is fine with me, but yeah, I can see where that would be daunting.
There it is. This is Oathbringer. And that's where I'm up to. Oh, did she fold a page? Yes, I did. Scream out in horror. No, actually, I have no qualms with it.
Good with it.
I'm so fine with it.
I'm okay with it.
You just fold it back. It's fine. I'm reading the show chat as well. Jeff, you have a problem with fan art. I know that the way people go about creating fan art is using sort of AI at the moment. I think that it's really helpful for people who cannot picture characters. And there's sometimes where I'm either not listening intently or I'm skimming reading and I'm missing crucial details, or there's a lot happening in early exposition of books, and so I'm just not really grasping what they look like. I'm focused more on dialogue or another function of the book. And so I like to be like, how on point am I, or I just need a little bit more help, or I'm just curious on how other people interpret it. There's a book series, a duology, which I really liked, One Dark Window, and the male stud muffin in that one it's mentioned several times that he has a hooked nose, and a lot of the fan art, his nose is perfect. And there's a girl who's done this video being like, no, it is a hooked knows. It is said so many times that this detail shouldn't be missed. Like, these are examples of what his nose should look like. And so I kind of love interpretations of those sorts of things. Robin says, I never retain the descriptions of characters. I don't care what they look like. I just want to know how they act. Exactly. Except when Dorian is mentioned in Throne of Glass having sapphire eyes. That is such a crucial detail. That's just why it's mentioned 48 times per book. I'm like, you tell me one more time how blue these eyes are. I will listen every single time. Dark hair. How long are the lashes? Okay, there it is. There it is. Tangents. I was talking about what you rated this book out of 5. Was this book filler or killer? Was it necessary? Could it have been reduced to 2 chapters? Did enough happen in this book? These are some of the conversations we'll be having about Brandon Sanderson's Edgedancer. Terry said the only side books I ever read from a series was Side Jobs and Briefcases from the Dresden Files book series. And it did add so much to the overall experience. There you go. Stephen had to look up the Parshendi because I could not picture them. Yeah, they're like black with marble red patterned in their skin. Like, it's fascinating. Kind of like learning that, and it's like quite crucial that they look very different and they sound different and they communicate differently. And we're learning a bit more about sort of like the evolution of the Parshendi as well, and the many forms that they take. Fascinating world building. Obsessed. Osiris says, would you leave tentacles off Cthulhu's face? If he had very clear dialogue that wasn't blurred with from time to time, then yeah, I could probably forget he had a tentacle mouth. Like, I listened to the audiobooks. Vaden says, if you want a Brandon Sanderson book that's moderate length, any of the Secret Project books are great, especially Tress of the Emerald Sea. Now, that is one of the bonus books that I've been floating around that we cover for Maude's Book Club soon. I've realized that we only have 5 months left, which means only 10 books. And that is crucial real estate that we are trying to fill up by choosing our main book and our bonus book for the rest of the year. We have locked in August's, and it is Oathbringer, the next book, book number 3 in the Stormlight Archive. And we'll also be tackling Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. He's got a new book coming out soon, actually. And in January, we covered his other book, Starter Villain. He writes short books that are very funny. Very funny indeed. So hopefully we'll get John Scalzi on the show. That Scalzi's title is intriguing. Kaiju Preservation Society. Look, they're very big, but it doesn't mean they can't be comfortable. Alchemist says, it's interesting seeing it in video games too, how the Witcher games start in Witcher 1 as nominally like the book, but by Witcher 3, he's a model. You can blame Henry Cavill for that one. So there you go. Some of the tangent questions that we've had. It was also Robin just screaming at me, you monster. Did anyone not get in their score for the book? Occult says, book good, 4 out of 5. Dawn Shard is proof that a 0.5 book can be a 5 out of 5. Good to know. Tate the Aussie says, hey, my dad gave it a 4 out of 5 and it's on my TBR. KP Dub says that Lift has a little bit of Robin Hood here. Steal from the rich, give to the poor. All right, let's talk about Lift. Something that Academic, you gave it 5 out of 5. Let's talk about why Edgedancer is perfect.
I think it does so many characters justice. This is. I feel like this novella does a really good job of Brandon Sanderson demonstrating what a good retcon sort of looks like, and that's what Edgedancer feels like to me. I will leave it there.
Okay.
Because we want to talk about the other books.
Because you've done Oath. Are you looking forward to us discussing Oathbringer?
No, actually, that is my least favorite Stormlight Archive book, and I will die on that hill. That said, I will be here for it.
I was gonna say, well, what way to ruin August for us? Like, did you not see where I'm up to in this book? And you're like, there, that's it. That's it. And you're like,
it's
look,
don't get me wrong.
So
It's
far,
a
both the
great
books,
Stormlight entry.
they're both 5 out of 5. The last books 1 and 2 already. And 2.5, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. I really liked Lift as a character. I think that it's so refreshing to experience this world that Brandon Sanderson has spent 2 books fleshing out, to see it through the lens of a 13-year-old girl who's already still trying to be 10 forever. There's something really innocent and sweet, and like hearing her take on it as well. Like, this isn't about Stormlight. It's about awesomeness, like not understanding, not really having a mentor except Wendell. And Wendell's kind of trying to teach her, but she's 10, 11, 12, 13. She's erratic. She's not going to sit down and study this lesson on these powers. What's fascinating is that she is so unique. She is incredibly different in terms of what we've already seen and who can manipulate and use Stormlight and how. She is probably about 13, but yeah, that is not clear. She said that she's been saying she's been 10 for 3 years. So I'm going to do the math on that one and think 10 plus 3 is 13. But, with an element of vagueness around that. Robin says, who wouldn't want to get their power from eating? If I could burn it the way that she does, whilst also doing real cool shit, then yeah, I'd get the hungries also. That sounds like a lot of fun. It's also interesting to learn the cost of magic, the cost of harnessing a power. I love it when there's a cost, because it shouldn't come for free. And it's interesting that only storms are able to power up these, the gemstones, come on, help me, the baubles. My brain don't do it.
Spheres? I can't remember.
Spheres. That's all it was. That's the only word I needed to try and say. I couldn't get there. One round little word, spheres. Toaster Poster says, how long has Maude been 26? Quiet, you. Shush. If I eat meals and I look younger, like that's the dream. That's the dream. Phantom Ari has joined the chat saying 3.25 out of 5. It was okay, but I think the critical stuff could have been fit into a couple of chapters in the other books. I'm looking forward to getting back to some of the other main characters in the next book. Do you feel like this book being a 2.5 was a little bit of a reprieve because we aren't juggling 4 people's stories and chapters and downfalls? It's like you literally have a lift, like in mood, in heaviness, in the character. Because she's 13 as well, and she doesn't know why she's like this, and Wendell, her spren, doesn't know why she's like this. He's like, you don't understand. No one else absorbs Stormlight or their power through food. Like, that is just you. And she's like, cool, all right. And that's it. Like, there's no search for answers. It's just acceptance. The other thing as well is she can touch spren. And apparently no one else can do that. So no one else are able to kind of like physically interact. Anyone who hasn't read ahead, do you have a theory on why this is? Why do you think Lift is different in these ways? You got anything?
Huh.
Yeah, Vaden, and then Academic, even though you read ahead.
Yeah, she mentions that Wendell mentions that she's partially in the cognitive realm. Like, I know they'll spin her from that realm in general. So she's somehow like not fully in our world. She's like partially in theirs to some degree. So I think that's why. I don't know why she is, but yeah.
And what else was interesting about it is that Wendell kind of describes someone as the mother. Mother chose Lift. Did you get that tidbit of a chapter that we had previously in Words of Radiance about the cobbler, the old man who would build shoes for homeless street urchin kids? Wendell was like, we were going to choose an old cobbler who was so nice, but the mother chose you, and I don't know why. I'm like, one more time? Like, A, who's the mother? What is this spren hierarchy? And we've seen it already. There's the Storm Father, and we know that it's like Dalinar kind of calls it that it's not the All Might. It's not the All Might, but it's like a remnant of the All Might, but it's like a bigger deal. And it's like, help me out here, academic. You're seeing me fluster.
The Almighty, the
Almighty?
the Almighty. All Might is a character from anime.
My Hero Academia. That's why. Love All Might. What a great guy.
The Almighty is the deity in the Vorn religion that a lot of Rosharans, like specifically the people that Shallan's a part of and the people that Dalinar is a part of, typically worship, and the Thalans. Yeah.
Okay. So, Jeff, I don't think that they do not say who the mother is. Wendell just references it being like, oh, mother chose, da-da-da, and kind of goes back to say, oh, not my mother, but blah, blah, blah. But it's like a bit of a throwaway line, but I'm grabbing it and I'm like, right, Wendell says mother, there is a Storm father. What is going on with Spren? There is a hierarchical system happening there. These are questions that I have. And I do find that very interesting. Do we know who the mother is? I don't think we do know who the mother is, academic. Do you know who the mother is? Does anyone know? You do? Do we at this point at 2.5 know who the mother is? He said. So, all of her energy is going to her powers and not to nourish her. She did seek out the old magic. Darren, let's talk about that. Lift said she got her powers because she basically prayed to the old magic and she wanted to stay young. She wanted help. What did she ask for?
She went and saw the Night Watcher, and she says that she went to the Night Watcher to ask to not change. So part of that was, I don't want to grow up. That's what she asked for. She went to the Night Watcher, asked to not grow up. And so we don't know all that entails for her. But Alinar also went to the Night Watcher.
To have his memory removed and confuddled so that every single time someone mentions his wife's name, it's whoosh, 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 whoosh in his head.
A boon and a curse.
A boon and a curse. So she has a boon of being a Night Radiant with her powers. What's her curse? She's hungry all the time. Is that her curse, maybe? Robin and I are going, that ain't no curse. Are you kidding me? Like, that's what we want. That's the win. Do we know her curse? That's interesting. Oh, so there's some great conversation happening in the chat as well. Stephanie Press saying, hey, what's next month's book again? I'm sorry. No, don't be sorry at all. We're going to continue Stormlight Archive by reading Oathbringer. Now, why are we heavy-handedly doing a lot of Stormlight Archive back-to-back? I was the recipient of an email saying Brandon Sanderson would do an interview with Maude's Book Club in September. So we got a little catching up to do so we can talk to Brandon Sanderson about the good stuff. We also have Cameron Hicken in the YouTube comments saying, hey, did you guys find Hoyd in Edgedancer? Mate, I didn't even know that darkness was Nail. Like, talking to the wrong person, unless you spoon feed me what is happening. So Hoyd has remained a mystery to me. And if you have to kind of like search for clues, I don't know. Catch 22 says, how long will the interview with Brandon be? 8 hours with 3 questions? You sassy. Oh yes, thank you, Kay Frito. And the bonus book is the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi, which is a shorter book because Oathbringer is a doorstop in size. Jeff says they talk about Lift visiting the Night Watcher and Wendell asks what she asked for. And this is a through line of the story. It's kind of learning from Lift what her goal is. She saves Gork's life. He ends up becoming the emperor. What's his title? Not a president. He's like the leader. He's in charge of shit. Gork's. He's straight
in
Prime.
In the Azish Empire, he's the Prime Akazix.
Oh, Akazix. Spell that one. Your word is Akazix. Your sentence is Gork's is the Prime Akazix. Go.
If I recall, it's AQASIX. No U in there.
Did you read Vaden's comment in Twitch, or are you a Spren god?
I don't have Twitch open.
Yeah, there you go, guys. Everyone, what is your Spren god shape, Baz? Describe your Spren shape.
An orangutan would be cool.
All right.
Mafaliki.
I love it. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Cool. Yeah, there you go. Akasix. Okay. So anyway, she's saved his life. She barely knows this guy. He's like a stringer in their little heist job. And she has this urge, I need to save him. And even Wendell's like, you don't even know him. You've known him for what, a day? She's like, it doesn't matter. So we're learning about Lift's character, which is she has a justice piece. She wants to do right by others. And this is a really common thread and a question that I want to pose to everyone, which is, are the Knights Radiant inherently good people? And we have seen that with Kaladin, we have seen it in Shallan, and we have seen it in Lift. So that's like, what kind of traits are the Spren looking for? Why did the mother choose Lift? So that's a big thing that I wanted to get into, because you have the opposite of that, which is darkness. Hold on, before we get into the darkness portion of the conversation, did you guys find Hoyd in Edgedancer? Who found Hoyd? Who can tell me where he is and what he is and who he is?
I put the quotes in the chat on Twitch where he was mentioned.
Hoyd in Edgedancer. That wasn't crude, Lift noted. That was being poetic. Or Whitehair said, you can't be crass so long as you're talking about art. Then you're being elegant. That's why it's okay to hang pictures of naked ladies in a palace. Mistress, wasn't this the man who got himself intentionally swallowed by a Marabethian great shell? Yup. Crazy as a box full of drunk minks, that one. I miss him. She liked to pretend that he hadn't actually gotten eaten. He'd winked at her as... So it was mentioned...
Cut off. Yeah.
It was mentioned in reminiscing only. There you go, Cameron. Are we correct? Is that right? Oh, the Forlorn Knight has shown up in the YouTube comments saying, I actually think it's less that they are good and more they can keep their oath. How are they different? Because I think I would argue that someone who could keep an oath has an inherent foundation of goodness, mayhaps. Well, I mean, then we saw darkness. There you go. That's our segue into dark. Or academics about to...
What's the oath?
Oh, no, I want you to... Are we talking about darkness? Is that the segue? Was that the look that I got from you?
No, the look was, what's the oath? You said something that I was going to contend with, which is if you can keep an oath, that means that you're inherently good. But what is the oath? Is the oath to, do bad things?
Oh, okay. So the oath we know, because Dalinar and Kaladin... No, did Dalinar recite the oath? Kaladin recited the oath. And it's basically like, I'm going to help people even if I don't like them. I'm going to... What are the other parts of the oath? Come on, we have to go back to August of last year. When did we do this book? Forever ago.
Life before death, strength before weakness.
Journey before destination. So, okay, let's break that down. Life before death. Is that a good trait? How would you interpret life before death? Not kill people? Focus on how they can stay alive? Be alive? Good before evil. What was the second one again? Life before death.
Strength before weakness.
Now that has a shadow side, surely. Strength before weakness. What kind of strength? How are you showing this strength? Strength of self, strength of purpose, strength of physicality? What does weakness look like? Are you not hitting the gym and doing your reps, bruh? How do you choose weakness? A lot of room for interpretation there as well. Journey before destination. Are you stopping and smelling the creme? Faded.
Yeah, just mentioning about the whole evil taking oaths thing. Like, you don't like someone mentioned, Jeff mentioned about the like Zeth taking the oaths. He kept his oath pretty well, but he could arguably be considered evil, at least when he was doing his all the king and royalty murdering. But also, like, I would say Nail is being pretty evil. He's being very lawful. He's holding on to his oath, but he was pretty evil, I would say.
So that is what I have in the notes here. Darkness, aka Nail, parentheses, Maude dropped the ball on that one, is the herald of justice. Now, I have said it's very interesting to see that he is lawful evil. Lawful evil is one of my favorite villain character traits. It is when you use rules and system to hurt and oppress others. But it's actually a really good narcissist tactic as well, where it's like, look how horrible they are, and I'm upholding justice and the right things, and I must condemn them. And I'm a martyr, and they are evil and terrible. Some key lawful evil characters across pop fiction. We can go through some of these. Greg Kenzo says Atlas is lawful evil. I reckon he's neutral evil, that Atlas. I don't know how lawful he is. I think he breaks and bends a few of the laws. Academic says lawful evil is a perfect category to put Nail in. Dolores Umbridge is a fantastic lawful evil character. Her goal is to gain more and more power so that she can put more and more rules and enforcement and punishment in place, and then almost trap people, back them into a corner, push and oppress so much that they want to rebel, they want to kind of like break free and fight for justice. And as soon as they take that step, they're like, haha, you broke the rules. Now I get to imprison, kill, do horrible, evil things for the sake of these policies. Sheriff of Nottingham is another great example. I always think that Sheriff Nottingham is lawful evil and Robin Hood is chaotic good. So that's sort of the scale that we have there. It's really interesting to see, and I thought Brandon Sanderson did such a great job with this character. Lift is trying to provoke, prod, gain any sort of reaction from him. And it's as if his whole entire personality has been snuffed out. And his fight and duty of justice has come at the cost of like everything else, his humanity, like who he is and what he truly represents. He is also creating what I think he wants to have limitless power to be able to enact and enforce justice by his accord, judge, jury, and executioner. That's sort of the power that Nail wants, the darkness wants. And it's just kind of funny as the reader waiting for him to have moments of rebuke or, a comeback or a barb, and it's just nothing. He's a sponge. He's just like not even a mirror. There's just no substance at all there. How was that for you? Because we didn't really have too much Nail before. We knew him as the Herald of Justice. What information before Edgedancer did we have on Nail? And oh, great, KP Dubs. Nail's the proof of those of the midnight soil. When you live that long, your humanity and your soul slowly dies. It's as if he just over the years got such tunnel vision that he couldn't see anything else except he's out there killing the poor cobblers. That's exactly it. And it's like, where is that justice? Where is that sense of like taking a step back and seeing more than this black and white? But the fact that he's darkness, I thought that was really well done. Who else has thoughts on Nail's journey in this book? Where it started and where it's gone? Because I also thought a really beautiful moment in the book was, this guy is looming around. I picture him like a Dementor sometimes. He's in a dark tail coat sort of thing with his uniform. He's stalking around, and it's like he's out for blood. And what was really interesting was when his colleague took Gorks and threatened his life, and then actually slit his throat when Lift called his bluff. And Nail's like, what did you do that for? That's not in the rules of what we're allowed to do. You stepped outside what we should be doing. And I thought that him getting reprimanded for that, that's when you recognize that it's not about evil for the sake of evil. It's evil only when it's in the parameters of what the law states. And that's when I was like, oh, this guy's lawful evil. This is wild. But the minion was like, well, I said I would do it, so I had to do it. Like, that's how this goes. I can't just say I'm going to kill this kid and not do it, especially when she didn't, like. And that's another policy. Like, that's another sort of evil, right? You use fear. You don't use empty threats. The fear of what you're capable of becomes another sort of evil. So to see Nail kind of be like, no, we don't do that. That was like a really interesting kind of understanding of his character and what he's willing and not willing to do. Jeff says, so only the ends justify the means? Not in this case. Only if the rules justify the action. You are very large. The floor shook when the dog jumped off the couch. Hi, Nugget.
For a moment, I thought you were talking to Jeff, and I was like, I don't think he deserved that.
No, sorry, the dog. The dog jumped off the bed and said, whoa. KP Dubs says for Nail, that was a point of justice. Talk me through that, KP Dubs.
Well, he is the herald of justice, so yeah, he just wanted to say, like, hey, there's certain things that we do and certain things we don't do, and I understand you were trying to make a point that once you make a threat, if you don't follow through, then they'll just ignore you in the future. But still, you shouldn't have made that threat in the first place if you were going to follow through that way. That's the whole thing.
Mm. Jeff, you've got an argument about this.
Well, so I think everyone is looking at what happened in the end, right? He failed. He was trying to stop the desolation. Yes, he failed, but does that necessarily mean that the effort to stop the desolation was a bad thing? Like, the desolation is pretty bad, right? And so working to stop it is a pretty laudable goal, one would think. And just because he failed, well, that stinks. And yeah, you can then look back and say, well, the last few hundred years of my life have been meaningless, I suppose. But that's like a really pessimistic thing, because if you're working towards something good, even if you don't achieve it, it's still worth it to work toward it.
His denial got in the way of his goal. So
at the end.
He was in denial that this was all happening. Academic, your hand's up. I'm not going to keep talking. I want you to have the stage.
Yeah, sorry. Jeff and I love this consequentialist talk. So like, you're right. He had a good goal in the end, but at what point do the ends actually justify the means? Like, is it worth it for him to start killing off everybody who's starting to manifest radiant powers? Is that the right way to accomplish the goal of, like, ending desolations? What if there's a better path? What if this is not actually in the fulfillment of, like, those radiant oaths of journey before destination? But
well, so the oaths are different for every group.
Yes.
And so it's not the Stormbreakers aren't Journey Before Destination. That's not their oath. It has nothing to do with their oath. But also, if it had been the right way to stop the desolation, it would have been worth it, right? Like, a few people in exchange for, millions or thousands or whatever it would have been that will die in the desolation. It's just that it didn't work. And so it's hard for me to say, it was a bad thing to do, because he thought he was, yes, he's a little touched in the head. Yes, he's lived too long and blah, 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 blah. So his judgment can be called into question. And that's a different question in my mind. Like, is his judgment sound? Different question. But if his judgment is assumed to be sound in this argument, you have to say that what he was doing was good. He failed in that he did not recognize fast enough that he had failed. Like, that's where it turned evil, in my mind, is that he decided to put blinders on and say, this isn't really happening. These are isolated incidents. And he keeps saying these are isolated incidents. And And so that's where he fails. That's where he turns to the kind of evil side.
And he
of
didn't
things.
reprioritize these isolated incidents to try and get more information about it. He wouldn't stray from his course. And so he became more and more sort of like delusional to try and stay on this path and not defer off it at all. There was no adjustment. The rigidity, I think, is a really interesting thing. And it took someone like Lift to be like, tap, 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 buddy, we good? And we'll talk about the end and see how all that works. We've got Basil in here saying, I'm pretty sure that the first oath is always life before death, but oaths 2 to 5 are different per the order. And Bianchi saying, yes, the first oath is the same for all. Osiris says, was there sand involved? I have a theory. Keep It Up says, wait, there was more. It is possible to make no mistakes and still lose. That isn't failure, that is life. Jean-Luc Picard. There you go.
Yeah, just so for Nail, maybe he did everything right, but he still didn't stop the desolation. But when Picard said that, it was because Data had doubts about himself, so that's why Nail's got this self-doubt. But it's possible he didn't do anything wrong. It just didn't work.
I actually had a blip of another character that we've covered in previous books. Jeff, did you read Vicious?
No.
Okay, so it's a V.E. Schwab book, and I loved it because it's kind of like the reality of supernatural powers. It's kind of like X-Men, but for the everyday person, and what would you do with this power? And to try not to spoil too much, Victor and Eli are our main antagonists. I don't even know if they're pro or ant. They're just antagonists. And Eli has unlocked a supernatural ability, but then he feels that his goal is to pursue everyone else with a supernatural ability and to eradicate them. So he's saying, I know how dangerous a power is, so therefore I'm taking it on. Very, very similar to Nail. And I'm seeing so many parallels between these two of like, Nail has these same abilities. He has a shard blade. He has the same thing that he's eradicating. So why does he decide that he is the dictator, or he is judge, jury, and executioner and gets to eradicate everyone else? Wouldn't you start with you, my dude? Like, is that not the rule? Yes, Baz, we've got a hand up.
I believe that it was covered in this book. I think Nail believed that, or Nale, I like calling him Nale, sorry.
Nale.
I believe he was hung up on the idea that the return of the Radiance would bring back the desolation. And that was the link that his actions were based on, which was this whole time he's using the law as an excuse to kill Radiance, thinking that, oh, if I do this, the desolation won't come. And so the guilt is really just, oh, I've killed all these people and it came anyways.
Yeah.
And so that link in his head is broken, and that's why he breaks down that way.
Also, I understand he's the herald of justice. So who is going to enact this out? It'd be the herald of justice. Like, that is like that I understand. Eli in that book doesn't. Pop that on the list, Jeff. I'm sure you'll have it done by next week, the week after. I'm really interested to hear, and we're going to be doing the third book in that series when that comes out. So what's the second book? I'll never learn the second book of that series, Lisa. It's Vicious, then it's Vengeance.
Vengeful, I think.
Vengeful. Vicious, then Vengeful. I just love sort of like morality with superpowers. I think the boys did a really good job of it. Where what if the wrong person has the strongest powers? Like, what then? And also how powers manifest. I find it fascinating. I'll read them tomorrow, says Jeff. Yes, report back to me this time tomorrow. That'd be great. AP says, your favorite? Lol. What's that mean? What favorite? Cameron says, I'm only on Oathbringer, so I don't know, but has Nail always been this way? In the prelude to book 1, it talks about something that happened to the heralds. Yeah, that is in that chapter that is still a squirrely mess of words in my head. Reading Dave is in the chat saying desolation is a bad thing, but he can try again if he survives it. Are the heralds' oaths the same as the radiance? Do heralds have to say oaths? I didn't think so either. I think they're above the radiance. I'm going to need a spreadsheet or a flow chart of heralds and what they are, radiance and the orders. I need, there's so much information and I need to have it tangibly in front of me. Academic.
Just as a heads up, so the Zeth had an honor blade, which is what the heralds had, and he did not have to say radiant oaths. So that's a way to sort of justify, like, or get it straight. Heralds no radiant oathed.
How did Zeth become that then? A blade.
He had the one of the honor blades. Those 9 blades that we see in that fuzzy chapter in book 1.
Yep.
Those were the honor blades that were wielded by the heralds.
Son of Valon. What is it? Oh, so good. Boom, boom, boom. In my head every single time. The first ideal is the same for every radiance as the Forlorn Knight. And then AP is doing my job for me. Smash that like if you're enjoying the stream. Amazing. Have you thought about becoming an influencer or a content creator? Just, you go smash that like. Anyway, we're talking about 2 main journeys in this book, which is Nail's journey from zeroed in on his goal at the cost of his own everything, and then Lift's journey as well. And we are doing journey before destination, so let's talk about that journey. Lift has this thing where she went and asked to not change. She didn't want change to occur. She didn't want to grow old. And it's interesting to see how many angles this kind of surfaced before she kind of came out directly talking about it. I saw it as that she didn't want to move. I thought that she didn't want, her family to pass. I thought that she kind of wanted to try and keep a childlike wonder for as long as possible. And then it felt like it was lack of responsibility. She didn't want any responsibility. And then it was like she didn't want order. She didn't want support. It was just kind of interesting to see how what her motivations were throughout all of this. So I wouldn't mind. Oh, here's something that I found about the oaths. Okay. Yeah, I don't know either. This is why I have all of you guys here to help me with it, because, I'm like, what does that even mean? But I want to hear from chat, and I want to hear from everyone else. What did you initially think Lift's deal was? I thought she was an urchin, she just wanted food. But then she's presented with a position in the court with no longer Gorks, because Gorks has a new name, and they probably mentioned it once, and I was looking at a pretty bird. I don't know. But she had routine. She had a place to live. She had a really good roof over her head, the prime Akasix. So I would have thought that would have been fantastic. And she kind of yeets herself in the middle of the night. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore. No, I have to go to this town. How much of this, where are my notes? I want to get this right. Where are you? Where is the word? Okay, great. She leaves the comfort and luxury of Gork's lodgings. Is it her choice or is it her intuition? Talk about the other ways that her intuition is impressive here, and we can go into those. But I guess the question that I'm asking everyone is, who did you think Lift was, and now who do you think Lift is? Who wants to tackle that one? Lift's before and after.
Well, I don't know if this exactly answers that question, but we really still don't know a lot about Lift's past. There's just little hints here and there. But it seems as if she's afraid to have any kind of either responsibility or accolades put on her or be noticed in any way, shape, or form. And yet she wants to be sort of the person who remembers everybody and everything that should be remembered, even when it's not. We know a little bit about the fact that she lost her mother, and her mother seems to be the only thing that she has any attachment to from her past. She doesn't really mention any of their family. So I don't know. I just know that there's something about what happened to her that makes her fear all these types of attachments. That's why she keeps running. As soon as somebody starts to notice her, she wants to get away. But at the end, she decides to finally go back to the palace. And I don't know, maybe she's growing up. Maybe she's changing. I guess we'll see.
I've got Billy Sunrider saying she's the Aladdin of the Cosme and Wendell is Apu. One jump ahead of the... I like that. In the YouTube comments, Cameron Hicken says, didn't Lift say that she left because when people give you stuff, they expect things from you? She just likes living free. I think there was a thing about expectations. She didn't want anyone to have expectations of her. And I think she didn't like the fact that, like, Gorks was now being monitored, like, 24/7. He had to have security while he slept. I definitely saw it as, like, Lift wanting freedom and not to be beholden to anything. Beholden. I think that she didn't really want to answer to anyone, but it was interesting that she didn't want to change. She was given gifts that she uses openly and freely to either enter into or exit out of situations, and she can make things grow. Grow is a form of change. To change is to grow, or recede, but it's grow, right? So the thing that she asked for was to never change and was gifted the ability to grow. Now, is this ironic or academic? Is this a smug look? You just stole Zelda's toy. This is Zelda's toy. You cheeky
I was
thing.
laughing at your receipt. No, it was no smugness. Just the receipt joke that she threw in there.
So she never wanted to change, and so she was gifted the gift of growth and change. And she loves using them. So she's changed completely as a person. She's got these new gifts, and she loves them, but she didn't want to change. Has she recognized that she's changed? Is it for the better? She uses it for good. I had a thought in Fable that she might have been a noble and her mother was grooming her to be a leader and she did not want to have those expectations. Yeah, there's books like that where it's like the two girls, one was raised an urchin and one was raised the princess, and the princess didn't want to have to be the princess and she was like going to swap with the urchin, and the urchin was like, oh my God, I'd love to be a princess, and so they did a whole life swap thing. Is that the gift that she got? What do you think it is, Jeff?
To be honest, I don't think they ever fully explain what the gift that she got is. Because the awesomeness that she has is from being a Radiant, is from like getting a Spren, and that had nothing to do with the Night Watcher or asking for anything. That was just the Wendell type Spren got selected her,
right?
And that wasn't the Night Watcher necessarily. So I don't know that you necessarily know what her gift is at this point.
What did the Night Watcher gift her? Is she going to look 10 forever? Is she not going to grow up? Is this like another little Addie LaRue sort of thing situation? No? You're saying no. Do you know? Oh, a little bit. Can you share a little bit, or is it spoiler territory?
Oh, total spoilers.
Okay, cool. I would like more insight on what I should already know at this point that I have not. There's a little...
Just that it's not... that's not, like, the gifts are not her awesomeness. That's not the gift.
That's her being a Radiant.
That's just her being a Radiant.
Yeah.
The thing that is different is that she's eating food and generating her own stormlight. That's different than everybody else.
And she can touch Spren. So how does that correlate with I don't want to change. Okay. Interesting.
Maude.
Yeah.
Back in the first chapter, when she first leaves, Wendell says, "Is this about what happened to you? I don't know a lot about humans, but I believe it was natural, disconcerting though it may appear. You aren't wounded. Is she becoming a woman? Did she get her period? I think she is growing up, if that's what that implication is.
She's got her own form of denial happening here as well. It's not Nail's in denial and Lift's in denial. It's not just a river. I couldn't help it. Did the Night Watcher change how Lift utilizes Stormlight? Is that why she has to consume food to use the awesomeness, says Cam. I think that's what we're trying to figure out. Because Wendell's like, that ain't normal, man. Like, that's not what it is. And then Nail is removing the Stormlight from the torches, thinking that that's going to be her source of power. But she's like hoffing back pancakes like she's in an IHOP. So, yeah, okay, that's interesting. And that's, I don't know, a form of resilience maybe? Lisa says, the Stormlight from food makes me think of the powers from burning metal in Mistborn. How do you consume your power? And someone earlier said, I can't remember, I've got 2-3 chats open. Here it is. Cam said, Mistborn is a good example of Brandon Sanderson writing under 600-page books. I agree that multiple perspectives make the Stormlight Archive books longer. Okay, so we're talking about sort of like the journey of Lift's sort of mindset and where she's becoming. I think she's realizing that having responsibilities or, you know, people turning to her for things isn't the worst. I'd like to know a little bit more of the aftermath of her conversation with Nail. The fact that like she got through to him. Is that a big deal to her? Is she kind of understanding that? It's not a murder mystery, but I kind of liked the wool that was pulled over our eyes with Stump. Stump was also pictured to be quite inherently evil, very unlikable, cruel to children, accusing them of faking it to get food when they're clearly in need and the most neglected. There's this inside scoop that she's money laundering, sphere laundering at this stage. I did not see that coming, actually. Did anyone kind of see the fact that Stump was like the cobbler and was indirectly healing these children? Nah, I thought that was really well done. And you kind of see Lift go, wait a second, like, because the poor boy who'd been dropped on his head and, you know, was not going to make it. And she dismisses him so much. This is like, again, the dichotomy of Lift. She wants to help people, but she was so ready to be like, oi, dude, you're drooling. P.S. Your mum ain't ever coming back. And you're like, Lift, sweetheart, that's cruel. Like, we don't say things like that. But then she's like, oh my God, did I heal this kid? Did I heal him? Is that what I did? I don't think that I was healing him. And then the penny drops. And when she's like, oh my God, it's Stump. Stump doesn't even realize that she's a Radiant. And Nail already knows. And Nail stabs her and has her bleeding out at the end there. And she's using her conscience. No, we're both wrong, Vaden. Using her conscience to try and save her. Thank you, KP Dubs. He was using her as bait to get Lift, knowing that this is this like hero complex, right? I have to save them. I have to save them all. Girl, your mum is gone. Thanks, Jimmy. Stephanie Press said, yeah, mind blown for that one. Like, did not see that coming with Stump. And it's also interesting, this is, again, perspective. People have a very clear perspective of who Stump is. Stump doesn't even know who she is. She doesn't even recognize that she's healing these kids. But at the end of the day, she is taking in children and she is making sure that they are getting at least 3 meals. Is there a rigidity behind her? Absolutely. Is she kind of like a fountain of kindness? No. But is she as bad as we all believed her to be so quickly? No. Academic, you said Lift is Kaladin. Why?
No, sorry, that was in response. So I think you said she has this innate desire to like help people even to her detriment. Like she has her own goal. She's like, oh wait, side quest, that person needs help. Let me see if I can take care of that real quick.
But if there was a person in need of help down the left path and a stack of pancakes of all the different flavors on the right path, which one is Lift going?
Well, she gets both because she's awesome. All right, so yeah, that's how it works.
Everything is awesome. Especially Lift in this book. Okay. One of my favorite descriptions of darkness, and this is why I think this book is quite brilliant, and the moments that I absolutely love it, because there are times where Lift is the very unserious one and Wendell's trying to kind of pull her back. And then there's other times where Lift is a bit unsure and a bit scattered, and it's Wendell who's the comedic relief. So my question is, what do you think of the duo of the Lift and Wendell? What do you like about them? What do you not like about them? How do you see it working? How would you describe their dynamic? Who wants that one? Vaden also said, I had no idea if Stump was actually bad, but it seemed like Lift's first impressions of everyone were wrong. So the description that Lift had of darkness, I thought it was such a good quote. He has a lump of crusty earwax for a heart. Alas, earwax. I just thought that phrase was so wonderful. And she's like in the throes of battle as well. And she's like, ugh, this guy. He has a lump of crusty earwax for a heart. What a way to say it. KB Dub says, I loved the dynamic, but ... Go on.
The half point I deducted from the score getting at 4.5 was that I was just as frustrated as Wendell was at her not being forthcoming. I wanted to know what her plans were, and she was like, no, I'm not following anybody. I'm just going to this town. And it turns out she was trying to track darkness the whole time. But I loved their banter, and yeah, I liked how they took turns sort of being like the one the other one leaned on a little bit. I did like that part.
And that's especially kind of great in this situation because he's old. He's lived through many life cycles as well. Like he's seen a lot of things. And she's young. And so you would think the dynamic would be her learning and him teaching. But he's learning from her just as much, and I thought that was really cool. There were times where it's like, yeah, she's a 13-year-old girl. Is she going to listen to the right thing to do every single time? No. But something that I found interesting about Lift is that she has this intuition. And I kind of want to go over some of these. This intuition where she thought she wanted to leave because she didn't like what the palace was about. But there was actually more of a subconscious draw to this other place. There were other things and other instances where she was talking to that other street urchin and she was able to communicate in the same way, in the same style, and understand the language. And that kid's saying, no one listens, man. Like, no one's listening. And so this is a recurring theme as well. She's able to not just listen, but really hear. And her intuition means that she can adapt language. She can like assimilate and to understand people, but to really connect on a level. What's that about? Because this was mentioned where Wendell was like, how did you know to talk like that? And she's like, I don't know, I just did. What are people's thoughts on that moment?
I think Lift is very like adaptable. Like she knows how to go with the situations she's dealt with. Like she's had to be very like improvisational in her life because she doesn't plan. She doesn't really think about stuff ahead of time that much. So she just kind of learns to change for the situation. So she just kind of knew intuitively, like I said, what to do. But yeah, it's only because that's what she's been doing for her entire life, I think.
Do you think it's a natural intuition or an unnatural intuition?
I think it's partially unnatural. I don't imagine it's like that scene in Mulan was not enough for sure, but it's just the consistency of her. Like, I don't know. It's hard to say even that because even though she does do a good job of adapting a lot of things, she also doesn't adapt to a lot of the things. So I don't know. I think she might have just got lucky.
Forlorn Knight says she's good at connecting with people as a way of not forgetting them, if that makes sense. So her big thing is she doesn't want to forget people. There was like the man who was killed in the alleyway that she thought was dead. But she's like, makes a point to be like, I won't forget this man. I won't forget him. Like, he is a victim of other people, like the 2 other assassins. She's like, makes a point. I will not forget him. So I hear what you're saying, the Forlorn Knight. Like, that's her thing. She makes sure that she doesn't forget people. But how does that happen? Vaden, you did a comment about the dynamic between Lift and Windle. They had a fun dynamic, but I hated that Lift complains all the time, that no one even listens anymore. So, of course, she doesn't listen to anyone either. But she does, though. That's the whole point. She was the one who listened, she was the one who listened to the urchin child saying no one listens. And she was like...
Yeah, but she's just repeating what he says. Like, she doesn't listen to Wendell. She listens to, like, most of the characters for the most part, until she's forced to accept certain things, like, at the end. Like... I don't know. I don't really see her listening to people. She basically says they tell her what to do, and she says, "Nope, I'm out," and she does her own thing. That's the whole point, is that she doesn't want to do what people want. What she's afraid of, as she talks about, is that, like, she's afraid that, like, people are gonna get to know her, expect things out of her, and then even though they don't really know her, so she doesn't want them to get to know her that well. Doesn't want her to get close to her, because she feels like she's gonna be molded into someone she doesn't want to be.
Yeah. But does she even know who she is?
She doesn't, and that causes her a lot of stress. And then she figures out, hey, in this world, everyone's really frightened. No, people are here with answers. Like, it's kind of the thing where, like, you become an adult, you realize, oh, people who were adults when you were kids weren't actually, like, super intelligent and knew everything. They're all just frightened kids, and they're figuring out life, like, just like you are. So.
Well, you know how, like, there's that thing where you're a kid, you think your parents know absolutely everything. My dad still knows absolutely. He knows a little bit about everything. My dad's the kind of guy, when Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was playing in the background, he said the answer out loud before there was even the 4 options. Like, I was like, why haven't we won $1 million yet, Dad? Are you kidding me? You're just doing this for fun? Like, you just know every single answer to every single question? And it's like, cool, great. No. Monetize. Forlorn Knight says, I think some of Stump's flaws comes from her not understanding what she's been doing with Stormlight. Cameron then says, at the beginning of the book, Lift is running away from her own powers while Windle is trying to get her to accept them throughout the book. When is she running away from her powers? I feel like she's really accepted her powers. I know that, like, she has to keep them under wraps, and, like, Darkness is now attuned to the fact that she's got these powers, and so she has to be subtle. But, like, I don't think she's got a difficult relationship with her own powers at all.
I think the thing was, like, she accepts her powers of frictionless, that vibration, but she doesn't really accept the growth part of it, because
progression. So there's abrasion and progression.
Yes, progression. And Windows specifically is trying to get her the entire time to take the oaths to
literally grow.
To grow, to accept those powers, to get to her potential.
Yeah, he's like, just say the words. She's like, no, I'm good. No, thank you. You know what to say. Say the words. Or not. Slide. Wee. The pressure of spotlights changes things, says KP Dubs. KP Dubs also says, I am again going to wonder if she had expectations before and somehow failed. Now she doesn't want to show those skills again, else she disappoints or hurts someone who starts to expect things from her again. I think you're right. I think there is a missing piece from her past where something happened. Like, Kaladin couldn't save his brother. He did everything he tried and he still couldn't save his brother. There's got to be something, because her background, all we know is that where she's from because of her looks. And even Wendell was like, aren't you going to go back there? And she's like, no, I'm good. And you're like, why not? But yeah, she just seems like she loves the sense of freedom of not having to answer to anyone or anything. Let's talk about the Zeth moment. Zeth, son of Valanon. What did you think of this moment? Reshi, thank you, Vaden. Smeckard says the second she says in second book is, I will remember those who have been forgotten. Third is, I will listen to those who have been ignored. That's what she says in Edgedancer. Got it. So that's her whole mantra. I remember those who have been forgotten, and I will listen to those who have been ignored. Wendell has only been ignored because she's the only one who can see him, and she don't listen to him at all. But maybe Spren have different set of rules to her oath. Who wants to talk about the scene with Zeth? What happened, how it happened. He seems like the big bad again, so she's trying to sneak away from him. It's kind of horror-esque. She's hiding in the dark corridor of the library, and then he sends a sphere of light down. And then he's like, wait, people are looking for you, right? And she's like, no. And he's like, you're not my target. I don't care. You're good. And she's like, you're very weird. You're so weird, my dude. She's like, weird's cool. I don't hate weird. Weird's fine. But, like, you're a next level bonks that, like, I don't really get. But as long as you don't kill me, that's sick. Keep It Up says, Zeth sees her and just walks away. He says nothing to the two apprentices. That was a really sweet moment as well. He has the opposite of Nail in terms of the severity of the path that they walk. Zeth, if he's not ordered to do it, he ain't getting his hands dirty. He reluctantly is ordered to do things that he doesn't want to do. And there's that moment where she knows that the other assassins are going to kill nobodies. And she's like, aren't you going to kill nobodies? He's like, I kill kings. She's like, hot damn. He's like, yeah, that's what I do. I kill kings. Like, don't you even worry about it. Didn't Zeth's blade like her? Says Cameron Hicken. Yeah, let's talk about that. Zeth's blade gave Lift a pass. Dare I say it, Lisa and Katie, that like calls to like? Yeah, Robin gets that one. Tell me you're reading Sarah J. Maas, but without telling me. Like calls to like. But is there substance in that? Keep It Up says, Zeth is honourable. He follows a code. It's just unfortunate that his honour was used against him. Yeah. Dude is a slave to being a pawn to other people's biddings. Lisa's camera is suspiciously off, says Academic. Oh, just about to eat dinner. Oh, we called her out for no reason. Forlorn Knight says, maybe not from her powers. She's not scared of her powers, but from the responsibility of them. There you go. So Zeth's blade liking Lift. Why do we think that is? Is it a radiance? Do they recognize radiance? Everyone's awfully quiet. Academic cannot answer. Darren, did you read ahead?
I like his sword, and that's all I'm going to say, so I don't spoil it.
What do you like about his sword?
I like that it's a different color than all the other ones.
What color is it?
I hope it has been said what color it is.
Yeah.
I think it's said in the end of the second book, but you can just tell it's a different sword than all the other honor blades. And I like it.
All she can say, says Lisa.
Have we seen the other honor blades?
Cameron says, remember, Zeth no longer has the honor blade. He has a new blade given from Nail at the end of book 2. Nail was basically like, hey, I'm the Herald of Justice. If anyone knows justice, my dude, it's you. You are literally upholding other people's sort of code, and you're not wavering from it at all. So you have a strong sense of it. Let me recruit you. Here is a new blade. So Nail was gifted Zeth a blade, and that blade likes Lift. Oh my god, I feel like all the pieces are there. What's it? Okay, Lift summoned Wendell as a weapon, and it's a rod. Why do you think it's a rod? And can't that only happen once they've accepted and they say the words? blank.
Just before he becomes a Rod, she does say out loud, "I've said it in my heart." And I think he just feels that's enough.
So we don't technically know what it is. You know that the name Nail sounds like nail. Oh, well, yeah, I think I just proved that reading the comment. But I don't read it, so I don't know how it's spelled, but I saw someone say Nyal, like Niall, like one of the One Direction boys. I listen to the books and it says Nail. Maybe I go between the two. The sword Nimi is pretty cool. What do you mean by that, Jeff?
Oh, that's Seth's sword. Is sword Nimi.
Oh, that's the
It's
sword's
just
name.
he's a very
Nimi?
cool. Yeah, it actually has a name. It's not an honor blade. It's not a radiant blade. It's something else.
Isn't Nimi another name for nail? No?
I don't think so.
Nail's not known by other names? Oh, someone's looking up something for me. Fact checking. Academic says we need
I
more
think they
books to
called
learn
him
about
Nim
nail.
at one point.
Nin. Nail is nin. Nimi is an honorific like sir, says Smeckard. Thank you. That's a good name, like sir for a blade. Better than ma'am. You wouldn't want to call a sword miss. You want it to hit. KP Dubs is proud of me. Thank you, KP Dubs. 605 puns? Yikes. Toast Poster says non-mystery books shouldn't be a mystery. This is why these books hurt so much. I know, I'm conducting a book club and I'm like, hey guys, can you tell me what it means? Can you just tell me what this is? Who did you say that was? I forget. Cameron says, has the book read Warbreaker? No. Smackhead, are you also Forlorn Knight? Because you said the same thing in two different chats. Or are you two different people? That's amazing. I like that sync. Lady Bullseye, I dub thee. I like that. When Warbreaker hasn't been read yet, no. There you go. Oh, no, Smackhead is not. I think I'm only one person. Well, here is the start of your existential crisis, Smackhead. There is someone else out there. Jebant! What'd you give this one out of? Did you read this one? What'd you give it out of 5? Book good?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I read it. I loved it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think I posted. I think Lift and Window are my 2 favorite characters in this universe now so far.
No way! Why?
Yeah. I was never bored, and I really loved their interactions, and I thought Lift was really interesting, and I was just very entertained reading the whole book.
There you go. Also, the Forlorn Knight who was in YouTube came over to Twitch to state that they are 2 different people. That was fun. That was fun for me. Had a little brain crack moment. All right, so just so you know, Smeckard said verbatim, Nimi is an honorific like sir, and then the Forlorn Knight said Nimi is an honorific like summer in Japanese. So they are not the same person. Thank you for subscribing for 43 months, Jay Bundrock. Lovely to have you here. I'm glad you liked it. If they're your 2 favorite characters from the whole books, why'd you give it a 4? No shame. Just intrigue.
That's just my ranking system. 4 is just, I loved it. 5 would be absolutely perfect. One of the best things I've ever read. So it's
that's
just
my
my ranking system. Yeah.
I loved it as 5. This is beautiful. Chef's
Yeah.
Kiss No Notes is a 6. So I break the system to accommodate. I'm quite generous with my 5s though.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know
so
who's reading my reviews and if I'm going to upset someone. So
Yeah, I just have 1 point less on the scale.
Snore says, I respect that rating system. Which one, mine or Jeff's? Break the system or dish out rare 5s?
Yeah, no, not yours, Maude.
I kind of knew. That's why I asked. I just needed confirmation. No, the rules exist for a reason. You can't just break the rule. Absolutely can. Just posted on TikTok. Thanks to Space Cowboy for helping me with the graphics and making them look awesome. But I said some of my 6-star books, 5-star books, 4-star books, 3-star books, 2-star books, and I didn't give any book a 1 because if I hate it that much and I know it's a 1, I put it down. I don't finish it. Ain't got time. My TBR is way too long to hate read. Jeff. You've got the time, though. Billy Sunrider said, I just finished Project Hail Mary, and that was a 6. Correct. I would argue that it's a 5, and it's a 6 if you listen to it. Ray Porter breaks the rating system by bringing a 5 book to a 6 through its narration. And I do try to say that narration shouldn't impact the book. But it happens. KP Tubbs just read the show chat. Where's the lie, though? Where's the lie? We're playing a game out here. Academic says Ray Porter is a GOAT narrator. He's a reason why I love the Bobaverse books. Okay, I feel like we've got to get involved in the Bobaverse. An announcement was made at the Project Hail Mary panel that I hosted at San Diego Comic-Con, and that was the production company that purchased and made Project Hail Mary have just acquired the Bobaverse. Oh, by the way, yeah. Academic fell out of his chair. So I feel like we need to get into the Bobaverse then, yeah? Also, Ray Porter said he would come on the show anytime. So I feel like we need to adjust the schedule, have the Bobaverse take place, interview Ray, poor November. I have a feeling November's going to get shafted in that. Or we don't need to read a scary book for October. We don't need to do horror for... We don't have to do that.
Read scary adjacent.
Is Bobaverse scary?
I have no idea.
Academic's face was like, are you kidding me?
It's a book that Tim would like. I'm fairly positive.
Shut the front door.
That's what everybody said about Way of Kings.
This is sci-fi.
Here we are.
This is hard sci-fi. If you liked Hail Mary, you should like Bobaverse.
Agreed.
Jay Bunt Rock wants us to read as scary as possible. Look, the first book that I ever read when it was Nerdist's book club, so I've basically been hosting book clubs, well, since 2013, if you count Geek Bomb's first iteration, but month to month, non-stop, since October 2016. And the first book that I read was not Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It was Shirley... The Haunting of Hill House. Shirley.
Yeah.
What's her name? Where are my fact checkers? Shirley? Anyway, I remember being like, I don't like horror movies because I can see and there's tension. They're just words. Shirley Jackman. Thank you. And I'm like, Jackson. Shirley Jackson. There you go. And I remember thinking, how can words written in a book be scary? When I told you I threw the book because I was so scared at one point. There's this one particular part in that book where I was like, scared the shit out of me. I don't know if anyone's going to read it or if I should spoil that one particular moment or if anyone's read it. Has anyone read The Haunting of Hill House? It was not what the show was. They weren't even close. It was made into a movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones, and that was more justice of the book. Basically, she's huddled in with her friend in the same room in bed together because there's noises and the house is shaking and there's knocking on it, and she's holding her friend's hand, and then she looks down and realizes that her friend isn't there. And I was like, whose hand is she holding? That one for me got me. That got me. Stephanie says, how about How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix? We did Grady Hendrix, was it 2 years ago for Nerdist Book Club? We did the last Final Call Girl. I hated it. I hated Final Girl, whatever it was called.
Final Girl Support Group.
That's it. Because it was just like, oh, of course women are the ones that are going to get stalked, attacked, tortured, maimed. It was just about women's trauma. And I was like, it's like, no, but it's like scary movie tropes. And I'm like, yeah, but if you don't watch the scary movies and you can't reference the parody and making fun of it, it's just a stark reminder how everyone, people want to kill women. slow, fast, take your pick. But like, women are the target. And that's all that book was when I was reading it. And I was like, this sucks. I don't need reminders how hard it is to be a woman from time to time. I'm holding my car keys through my fingers, not for funsies. And this book was just like a saturated version. Dude, that's a bad fart. Oh boy. Boo. What was... No, don't point your bum at me, my dude. Ooh, sorry, guys. My eyes are watering. Oh, Lord above. Someone clip that and send it to Naomi. This is what we're dealing with here. Oh. Hot damn. Jay Buntrock said, I enjoyed How to Sell a Haunted House. Osiris Manpor said, I am more familiar with Matheson, The Legend of Hell House, big trigger warning movie for all the reasons. I just watched the movie trailer. Roddy McDowall is next level. No, thank you. Yeah, the door is open, but the window's not, and it's quite warm in here. Toaster Poster says, I won't read Haunting of Hill House. There you go. Terry says, the horror book for October should be Rats by James Herbert. That just reminds me of Witches by Roald Dahl, and watching that movie when I was 5 years old was the biggest mistake. Billy Sunrider says, Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle comes out in a couple of weeks. That could be a good October book. Matt Dinneman did a panel with Chuck Tingle, so I'm sure I could get an intro that away. Nugget speaks Pooselton. Good one, Jimmy. Good one. Funniest words ever. October should be Eaters of the Dead. Horror adjacent is Jeff Hayes' book, Dungeon Lord. What's that one, Academic?
It's another lit RPG genre book, and it's narrated by Jeff Hayes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's sort of like isekai trope instead of like the dungeon one, the Dungeon Crawler Carl that we are used to. But it is definitely like gothic themes, mystery monster of the week sort of thing for the first couple of books until it like blossoms into a full story. Yeah.
What's isekai?
Person from Earth, well, typically Earth gets transported to another world to save that world for whatever reason.
How far off do you think we are from transporting worlds? Like a good while?
I mean, it could happen anytime, right? It depends on what the other world is, right? That's the whole trope. You have no clue it doesn't exist.
Tim, can you
My
give me
money's
some...
on 33rd century.
33rd century. I like that. We'll see if you're right. Tim, can you give me some maths or science behind teleporting or velocity of a planet traveling?
I can try, but I'd need a pencil and paper.
The fact that you would need a pencil.
Look, orbital physics is very complicated.
K. Frito just said, watch Fantastic Four, Maude. Adam's here. Adam Vision just said, I'm the better friend. Then who? Then whom? How can you skip blood rights? Says Thierry. Aren't we up to Deadbeat, which takes place on Halloween? We can skip blood rights. Oh, and someone else, Forlorn Knight, is also saying that Warbreaker, which is what, 3.5, is very helpful before Oathbringer, but required before Rhythm of War. How about What Moves the Dead by Ursula Vernon?
Warbreaker's not part of the Stormlight Archive series. It's a completely separate, but there are things in that would give a whole lot more context to things that happen in the later books.
What?
I also would like to say that it is required reading before Oathbringer at this point. It makes reading Oathbringer way better. Just saying.
What? We should read... How many pages is Warbreaker? And it's in the Cosme, but... that's
660 or something? It's shorter.
It's slightly shorter. It's not, Stormlight, but it's also
shorter.
not standard.
That's not shorter.
600 is a lot shorter than 1,000. What do you want me to say?
Still too many.
It's an entire novel shorter, 400 plus pages.
Oh, I like this. Academic says, are you the same person if you teleport from one place to another? And Jay Buntrock, bringing it back to Edgedancer, are you a new soul every time you wake up? Ooh. Ooh, existential crisis happening. Katie, were you about to say something?
I really enjoy Warbreaker as a story in itself. Separate from Stormlight, it's a really good story.
Smeckett said, I didn't read Warbreaker before Oath and was fine. You will have more knowledge about things, but it's not needed. And Darren said, I read the whole Stormlight, but I haven't read Warbreaker. I've started Oathbringer.
I just recently did.
And guys, we're meeting in a week for the first third of this book. Like, if you haven't started Oathbringer, you better cancel your weekend. You know how many pages that is just to get to part 1? Like, when we're done with this, I'm reading all night kind of deal. That's what this book entails. And now you're telling me I have to read a whole fucking other book before I do? Jesus Christ. Didn't we just...
You don't have to.
Boy, is it Michael...
I read the Stormlight Archive books like a couple years ago. And I just read Warbreaker this year.
Okay. Warbreaker's in my library.
No.
What?
Yeah, you'll know when you read it why people are saying that. But as somebody who only read the Stormlight Archives first, you won't get the context at all. So I don't think you miss it.
I agree with you for the most part. For some reason, I remember reading this and thinking this was nowhere near as eye-catching as like books 1 and 2 when I got through Oathbringer. And after reading Warbreaker the second time and having other people go through this series, and I recommended them to do Warbreaker first, they were able to do Oathbringer so much more easily.
Huh. Listen to both audiobooks at the same time. Posture check. And my back sore.
I will say I took other people's advice in this club and read Warbreaker before Oathbringer, and it did enhance the rest of the series for me.
There's just no way. Unless I can pause another week, there ain't no way. But you want to hear some really good news? The narrator for Warbreaker is not Michael Kramer.
How did that happen?
That is an amazing incentive for me. KBW says, look, we're committed. Who is the... so it is in the Cosmere. It's not Kate. It's Alyssa. Mm-hmm. Summary. In the world of Warbreaker, each person is born endowed with the power of one breath, which can be sold and collected by others, then used to awaken objects and even corpses to do their bidding. A few individuals who die in glory return as gods with the power of thousands of breath, capital B, but no memory of their mortal lives, and are enthroned in the court of gods in Hallandren's capital. What the fuck? This is so much more new info that, like, how do they even connect? To Viviana and Siri, not another Siri, but it's the Alexa spelling. It's that spelling Siri, not... What is... I'll take care, Steph. What's the... Who's Apple Siri? Princesses of Idris, the abuse of breath and the claim of the return to be gods are repugnant blasphemy. But with one princess wed to the god king of their nation's enemies in a bid for peace, the other finds she must rely on breath-using mercenaries to try and rescue her sister from her monstrous husband. Lightsong the Bold, a lesser god who doubts his own religion, starts investigating mysterious murders in the court of gods and uncovers haunting clues to his own forgotten past. He is one of four... Oh my God, my brain. How is this necessary reading? This is... Can you just tell me what... Because I have a feeling it's like maybe half a chapter, maybe 2 tacked on paragraphs that is needed for this. No? Can you condense what happens in Warbreaker? Yeah, it's Siri, not Siri. It's not the Witcher Siri. It's the Apple Siri. Smeckett says there's 3 different versions of audiobook.
I could, maybe not necessarily... Well, I could condense it, but I feel like it takes away some of the enjoyment of reading Warbreaker and see how it factors into
Oh
later books.
no! Oh, that's terrible.
Well, I mean, that's it is a spoiler. Like that's the thing. Like
Oh
it's not
dear.
that. Yeah. Like that's part of the. I'd say, having become a Sanderson fan, one of the hard parts of the Cosmere is like, oh no, there's like a topographical sort I have to do when I'm reading these books and figure out which should I should read when. But if you would like, I could condense it for you. I will say I would not do it while like on stream, maybe in like a message or something in one of
Like
the
a
chats.
hidden message. I'm a bit just confused because Audible is saying that I have Warbreaker, but then when I try to open it up, it's saying I need to spend a credit on it, so I'm a bit unsure about that. Toaster Poster says, is it the magic system that we need to know? No.
Not just that.
J Bunt Rock says, we should get Catch to read Warbreaker and then summarize it for us. The meeting has begun. All in favor of Tim reading Warbreaker and summarizing it for us, say aye on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Aye.
Aye.
I hope you guys are used to disappointment.
Oh yeah, so Maude, about the books beyond Audible. Yeah, some of them what happened was for a while they gave us a bunch of the books from Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, I thought I'd download them all.
Yeah, so I did the same. I downloaded 2, but now they're not available for some reason. Basically, they're not on the catalog anymore, or at least not like for that purpose. So it's like that's why you have to actually buy it now, which sucks.
And as KP Dub says, credits are no good here. Thank you, KP. K Friday says, hey, by the way, who won the NBC giveaway? That's right, we're doing giveaways again on Maude's Book Club. We have a giveaways channel in the Discord. The Discord's free to enter. Click a link, join up. You can join 1,912 other people, I think. We're on our way to 2,000 in the Discord, which is rad. And all you have to do to enter the giveaway is click a button in the giveaway channel. You just click that button. What's really cool is if you are a member, you automatically get 2 entries instead of just the one. So you click that button, 2 entries go in. Same if you're a member plus. If you're a merch member, which is the highest tier that you can get, you get 3 entries. So you are much more likely to win a giveaway. So in saying that, our 5, this whole bloody, can anyone remember what you can do in Discord? Adam Vision. Are you still there? There's like a user setting that's like a privacy thing. And there's something that you can do where, because some people's names are just their first letter and then ... And I want to be able to see all of the name.
So that's your streamer mode. You have to turn streamer mode off.
Yeah. Where's that again? Where's streamer mode? I see it. Enable streamer mode, no?
Yeah, so turn it off and you should be fine. You should be able to have people's names. Show up.
Fantastic. I immediately have names again. So the 5 winners, the book that we were giving away was an audio copy of Halo Contact Harvest. So this is a part of the Halo book series. So if you played Halo and you understand the lore of that, this is one of the books in there. So a big shout out to Simon & Schuster Audio for the 5 copies. Really appreciate that. The people who won it, 2 of them are in the Members Plus call with me right now. So Broggy G, Rook, BMW Lucky 17, and Vaden and J Bunt Rock all won a copy of Halo Contact Harvest. Congratulations to J Bunt Rock and Vaden who are in this call. You've got a free audiobook. Enjoy that one. And some amazing news. Let me pull it up. We have our next giveaway already lined up. It is Honey Eater by Kathleen Jennings. And I believe we have 5 book copies, physical copies to give away of that one. So that's going to be starting next week. So if you're not in the Discord, click the dang link, get involved. Where's the Discord link that we can get? So there it is. Thank you, Lisa. Get on in that Discord. We're doing giveaways again. Very exciting stuff. So congratulations to the 5 winners. There'll be 5 more winners pulled next week. We've also been having a big debate if I need to read Warbreaker before we start Oathbringer. Tough shitty titties. I've already started Oathbringer and I'm already on chapter 7, so ain't happening today. Give me the TLDR of what I need to know for Warbreaker. Maybe I'll get there when I'm severely bored. But like all of you, to keep up with all the books for Moore's Book Club, we are doing 2 a month. And I think I average maybe 6 or 7 books a month. And you're saying I got to put another one in there? Are you kidding me? No, thank you. One last thing that I want to talk about just quickly before we say goodbye and have to frantically read a third of a giant book. The Sleepless. So Arklo is the name of the Sleepless that we got, who is a dude who's missing pieces of himself because he's literally made of Kremlings. What do we know about the Sleepless to this point? Are you excited about the Sleepless? Is it info overload? Because I'm like, wait, there's Knights of Radiant, there's Radiant Knights, there's Heralds, and now there's Sleepless, and then Hoyd shows up somehow. KPW says, I too am sleepless. Preach. I needed a second coffee today and I never had it. Pianki says, the Sleepless are kind of cool, but we don't know much about them yet. I think that a guy made up fully of Kremlings, and it's like a puzzle piece, right? These little Kremlings are like scuttering up and they fit click into him to make a full person. And he's like an old man, right? That's cool. Freaky as hell. That's where I think Australia's going. We're all going to be made up full of bugs one day. I'm like 4 million grasshoppers. Can you imagine? There's at least one person who's like, that checks out, Maude. I am not surprised that you're made up of 4 million grasshoppers. Academic asks, are the Sleepless even necessary? Or Brandon Sanderson, do you have to simmer down? Just simmer down now. Do they all need to be in here, or can you write another 17 books? Simmer down now. Oh, there's someone, Lisa's messaging me someone's note on what ties in from Warbreaker. All right, well, I'm not going to spoil that. You can, if you want to know, we can post it in the Discord for everyone. Okay, cool. Great chat about Sleepless. Hell yeah. Nice. The last thing. Oh, yes?
Just one thing that's interesting about I mentioned was like this guy specifically, he's trying to create some kind of philosophy. That's his goal in life. He's like, I have to create this philosophy and I need your help. So he talks to her, Liptabat, and asks her questions about herself. He's like asking all these very odd questions that I'm not sure people think about, but like the whole like, hey, well, if you be a body part for a city, what would you be? Like,
I mean, as an interviewer, I think that question's great. Oh, KP Dubs wants to talk about shard forks. All right, so she had a shard rod. No one cared about that when I brought it up. But a shard fork, it went through the plate into the table. She's going to break a tooth with that. Why are you so excited? That's so dangerous.
I was just thinking because Kaladin ends up having like a shard spear because that was his weapon of choice. So I guess the question is like, if all of you had a spren and a shard, what would be your weapon of choice?
If you sharded, Lisa hates that. J Punt Rock's laughing his face up. All right, cool. If you sharded, what would it look like?
Definitely spear, 100%. Best weapon.
Vaden wants a spear. I want dual daggers, but like semi-longer daggers, short swords, dual sword swords. KPW would shard chunks. Jeff would wield a bookmark. No, you coward. Fold the page. Catch would have a shard gun with shard bullets. Well, yeah. A shard, says J Bunt Rock. Space Cowboy would have a shard frisbee. Oh, you just know that's going through faces. A shard letter opener. To really get your mail faster. Shardarang? A shard crochet hook, says Lisa. Everything you try to craft is just ash by the time you're done with it. You wreck everything. By the way, it's not in this set, but Lisa's crochet is next freaking level. A shard shovel. Wendell would love that. Do a little gardening. Can permeate any soil. Has everyone said what their shard? Baz, what's your shard? Toaster Poster wants a shard shark now. Oh, that's some nom-noms for sure.
Did anyone watch Book of Boba Fett?
Mm-hmm.
The staff that he has, that'd be pretty cool.
The staff? Shard staff? Say that 5 times fast.
It's a specific weapon. I don't know the formal name, but it was like sort of sharp on one end and then a club on the other.
I remember that. Yep. Wasn't that traditionally a Tusken Raider weapon?
Yes. He got it from the Tusken Raider.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's it.
Gaffy stick.
Who can do a good Tusken Raider impersonation?
My best friend who's not here.
Well, anticlimax.
Yep, sorry.
Can anyone do a good Tusken Raider? Any sand person? All right. I can't do a Chewie though. I can't do Chewie. I can just do a Tusken Raider. Taffa just says, I love Lift, great book. Taffa, what would you give the book out of 5? In the year 2025, says Academic, are we really doing Tusken Raiders?
You can't just call the Tusken Raiders sand people, Maude.
Oh, my bad. We want to honor their rating. We want to honor the Tusken rating. There you go. Got it. Hey, everyone, start Oathbringer. And if you can't read Oathbringer, read Warbreaker. And if you don't want to read any Cosmere, get the Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. That is a packed Thursday, every single Thursday of this month. I was going to go to London. Are you kidding me? When? You can bring the oath or you can break the war, says Jay Buntrock. I like that. Taffy gave it a 4 out of 5. Good novella. I like Dawn Shard and the other novella better. Ooh. And I feel like someone just came in. Oh, Greg's back. Oh, we have a new Member Plus. If you want to join Member Plus, we're a really cool community. We're all in a video call right now. This is whose voices you hear while we're talking about the book. So if you're into books, if you have lots to say about books, and if you need accountability reading books and getting them and then talking about it with the crew, hey, it's us. Join us. And everyone who's over in the YouTube, there's not many of you because I don't really do this and I never told anyone that this happens. So you would have just happened to have been on YouTube at this particular time and subscribed to me, which is rare. We're over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Maude Garrett. And if you're on Twitch, we're on Discord, discord.gg/Maude Garrett. And if you're on Discord, we're on Patreon, patreon.com/Maude's Book Club. And if you're on Patreon, think about joining the Fable. What the fuck am I doing? There's too many platforms. This is so hard making sure that there's content on all of them all the time. I'm really tired. And then there's TikTok. I have an account on there. I have 205,000 followers on TikTok. You think I post on there? I'm trying, guys. Read Warbreaker. Who even joked about that? Shame. Jay Buntrock says NBC is also on Yahoo groups. What is a Yahoo group? I certainly didn't make it to Australia. Gen X. You just outed yourself so bad just then. Unless you're a millennial. In that case, it's just a geographical thing. I follow NBC on Facebook, says KP Dubs. I think I'm the only one. You just outed yourself, Gen X. All my Gen X is on Facebook. How's politics talk with your auntie going? Oh, Laffy Taffy just joined. Hey, we got him. We got the YouTuber over on Twitch. It worked. Smash that like button. Says Toaster Poster. Tears included. Okay, it's time to read Oathbringer. Later, guys. We should raid. Who to raid? Where to raid? Why to raid? Y2K? What is going on? She's lost it. She's lost it. Ooh. I mean, sure, but do I want to raid into Felicia? She's playing Tales of the Shire. That's cute. Go, Felicia. Because if I raid her, maybe one day she'll raid me again. And trust me when I say that's a good deal. Is she playing Talia Shire? Yeah, Talia of the Shire. Tal the show. Listen, just because you can't speak Hobbit. Tal the show. Anyway, go say hi to Felicia. We're adding like 1/10 of her viewers. Yay. Everyone counts. Drop them books. Bye.